Good day, everyone. This is the work of Group 6. The topic is all about the cry of Katipunan, Pugad Lawin. The cry of Pugad Lawin, Filipino, Sigaw ng Pugad Lawin, Spanish, Grito de Pugad Lawin, was the beginning of the Philippine Revolution against the Spanish Empire. At the close of August 1896, member of Katipunan secret society Katipuneros, led by Andres Bonifacio, rose up in revolt somewhere in the area referred to the Caloocan, rather than the jurisdiction of present-day Caloocan, which may have overlapped into present-day Quezon City. Originally, the term cry referred to the first clash between Katipuneros and civil guards, Guardia Civil. The cry could also refer the tearing up of community tax certificates, cédulas personales, in defense of their allegiance to Spain. The inscription of Viva la Independencia Filipina can also be referred as term for the cry. This was literally accompanied by patriotic shouts because of competing accounts and ambiguity of the place where this event took place. The exact date and place of the cry is contention. From 1908 until 1963, the official stance was the cry occurred on August 26 in Balintawak. In 1963, the Philippine government declared a shift to August 23 in Pugad Lawin, Quezon City. Dr. Pio Valenzuela, born July 11, 1869, Valenzuela, Metro Manila. Died April 6, 1956, Valenzuela, Metro Manila. A Filipino physician and revolutionary leader. At the age of 23, he joined the Society of Katipunan, a movement which sought the independence of the Philippines from Spanish colonial rule and started the Philippine Revolution. The three primary sources. The accounts of Dr. Pio Valenzuela, Santiago Alvarez, and Guillermo Masangkay. They participated in the revolution as the witness on the happenings during the revolution. Their accounts becomes our background knowledge on what really happened that day. In his first version, he told that the prime staging point of the cry was in Balintawak. On Wednesday of August 26, 1896, he held his account. What happenings or events are still vivid in his memory. Pio Valenzuela. He has written a book entitled Dr. Pio Valenzuela and the Katipunan, published by the National Historical Institute in 1992 and revised in 1996. The evidence. The first cry of revolution happened in Balintawak at the house of Apolonio Samson on August 26, 1896, 9 o'clock in the morning. The board of directors held a meeting for the final date of uprising. Bonifacio went outside the hall and talked to the people waiting outside. The cry of the rebellion in Pugad Lawin marked the beginning of the Philippine Revolution in 1896, which ultimately led to Philippine independence in 1898. After Bonifacio's death on May 10, 1897, in the Maragondon, Cavite, General Emilio Aguinaldo continued the revolution. The so-called cry of Pugad Lawin or Balintawak is considered as the beginning of the Philippine Revolution against more than 300 years of Spanish occupation.
Dr. Pio Valenzuela sent from Cabanatuan an exclusive message to the La Vanguardia, denying that the first cry of Balintawak took place on 26 August, which is a fact and which the nation has 4 years consecrated. On several occasions, Dr. Valenzuela took part in past celebrations on this date of the glorious events of our revolution.
Valenzuela says the following. That night we slept in Bagubantay. We were 8. Andres Bonifacio, his brother, Procopio, Emilio Jacinto, Agudo del Rosario, Enrique Pacheco, his sons, and myself. The following day, 25 August, we went to Balara. On 27 August, we went to Marikina. And from there to Pateros on the 28th, then to Biniaang, Laguna. According to this story, on 28 August, the doctor went with Andres Bonifacio and his companions to Marikina, and from there to other points like Pateros and Biniaang, Laguna.
This is a downright lie. On 27 August 1896, Dr. Pio Valenzuela presented himself at 8 o'clock in the morning before the Spanish 2nd Corporal General Ecaluche and Don Francisco Olive, judge advocate during the early days of the Revolution of 96. On the same day, the following were arrested by the Veterana because of denunciation of Dr. Valenzuela: the Katipuneros Hermenegildo Reyes alias Talibong, Rafael Gutierrez, Francisco Varela, Vicente Molina, and the others. The following day, D-28, he also denounced Jose Trinidad. On 1 September, he denounced in like manner Jose Toriano Santiago Sr., who was imprisoned as a result, and the same afternoon, Jose Toriano Santiago Jr. and Restituto Javier were arrested. On 16 September 1896, Dr. Valenzuela also denounced Jose Dizon, engraver at the Mint, Roman Ramos, Faustino Manialac, Valentin Legasca, Ramon Basa, Marcelo Los Santos, Eugenio de los Reyes, Masangkay, and Jeronimo Cristobal, Corporal of Regiment. Roman Ramos was a laborer at the arsenal, and Mariano Masangkay is the brother of the undersigned. All were incarcerated. Dr. Pio Valenzuela was used as a state witness by the said judge advocate Francisco Olive and by the other judges of that regime. Valenzuela presented the Spanish authorities a detailed memorandum that revealed the secrets of the Katipunan, the plans for revolution revelations which jeopardized Dr. Rizal and other activists and Katipuneros. His revelations were used by the authorities and the friars in the prosecution and execution of Dr. Rizal in Bagumbay, the day when Katipunan was discovered accidentally. The reader should take caution in reading Valenzuela's account, for there is inconsistency in his account. On August 23, 1896, Andres Bonifacio and a number of Katipuneros tore their cedilas, signifying their protest against Spanish colonial rule. In signal the start of the Philippine Revolution against Spain that was followed by series of fierce fighting of Filipino bolos and spears versus Spanish muskets. On 28 September 1896, Restituto Javier Jose Toriano Santiago, ex-councilor, Roman Ramos were brought face to face with Dr. Pio Valenzuela. Valenzuela pointed to the true members of the Katipunan. He said that Jose Toriano Santiago was the secretary of the association, Restituto Javier, fiscal in the front of the authorities investigating. Restituto Javier hit Valenzuela, causing his lips to bleed. It was a cedula, which symbolized the chain that shackled Filipinos to a life of subjection and misery under foreign oppression. The soulful cry of Bonifacio, which resounded throughout the land, was the first determined assertion of our people's desire to be free. Long live Philippine independence! The fighters tore their residence certificates to symbolize the termination of their loyalty to Spain, while shouting the battle cry. The event went down in Philippine history as the cry of Balintawak is regarded as the starting signal. 7 July 1892, founding of Katipunan. 21 March 1895, enrollment of Dr. Pio Valenzuela and the Katipunan. 1895 May, Dr. Pio Valenzuela, assuming the name of Procopio Bonifacio, sent to the Pitan to confer with Dr. Rizal. This trip paid for by Mr. Francisco Castillo of Capiz. August 1895. Dr. Rizal arrived in Manila. 26 August 1896. The first cry of Balintawak. 27 August 1896. Dr. Pio Valenzuela presented himself before the Spanish Colonel Francisco Olive, denouncing the Katipunero. 30 December 1896. Rizal was shut down because of Dr. Valenzuela's denunciations. 1897 June, Dr. Valenzuela was sent to Spain, a cuerpo de fray, in exchange for these valiant services given to the judge advocates, the veterana, the civil guard, and the friars. 1899, Dr. Valenzuela returned to the Philippines, was arrested by the Americans, and then, much later, set free.